Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the best policies to get after the beta 1.4.1 hotfix nerf and also the 1.4.2 beta buff. So when the 1.4.1 hotfix came out, we received a lot of changes, and the most significant in my opinion is a change to a lot of policies in regards to influence gain. The dev stated there was an influence inflation that needed to be pretty much addressed. A lot of people didn't like the huge nerf, so then again in 1.4.2 some policies were slightly buffed back. So here's a list of all the changes as of 1.4.2 that are currently in the game. I'm going to put it on the screen right now. You guys can read it if you would like, pause it and all of that. Also, I have a script like always. It's going to be in the description, so yeah, you guys can read it down there as well. So now let's move on. So that's pretty much all the changes, and now let's talk about my top 4. And why I say top 4 is because if you do reach clan tier 4, you can create your own kingdom just by reaching clan tier 4, and if you do it that way you get 4 free policies. So I'm pretty much going to give you my top 4 and the 4 free policies that I would get if I went with that approach, right? So let's start it off right away with Sacred Majesty. So even though it was nerfed, it's going to be on the screen right now, by the way, I still think it is the best policy for influence, especially early on when you do not own much in terms of fiefs. It gives you +3 influence per day, and also the negative effect of non-ruling clans doesn't really matter, because guess what? If you start a kingdom, you're going to be the only clan in the kingdom as of that point, right? Next, we have Royal Guard. So even though it does not grant influence anymore, it is still the best way to increase your party size by a huge chunk early on. It increases your party size by 60. It used to be 80, but I think 60 is still great. And again, the negative effect of non-ruling clans losing influence does not really matter in the current state of your kingdom just starting, right? Next we have is Hunting Rights. Let's get it right here on the screen. So Hunting Rights, the food production in castles and towns will increase almost everything in a fief, right? So food production in towns and castles are increased by 2, and pretty much more food will equal more prosperity, and more prosperity will equal more militia. So you're pretty much going to end up with a town that is very profitable, very big, and also protected. So I think this is a great one to get. And also the negative town loyalty decrease of 0.2 is very minimal, and the upside is far better than the downside in my opinion. Next we have pretty much the last one for our top 4 we have is Senate. It's right over here. And the gain in influence might be low with only 0.5 influence per day, but the fact that there is no negative makes this completely worth it in my opinion. Now, that's my top 4. So now I'm going to talk about ones that you should focus on getting in the future. I'm going to give you some if situations, like if you have this and you want this, then you should get this policy. And we're going to talk through all of these pretty much, and you can find out which ones work for you. So first one is, once you reach clan tier 5, I would suggest you get I suggest you get 2 policies: Noble Retinues and Lord's Privy Council. So Noble Retinues, if we go over here, Noble Retinues gives you plus 40 party size, but you lose 1 influence per day. And then Lord's Privy Council gives you plus 0.5 influence, pretty much like Senate. But the thing is, with these 2, you have to be clan tier 5 or above, right? And if you have both of them combined, if you get both of them, you're pretty much going to get 40 party size, and you're only going to lose 0.5 influence. So I think the upside is definitely better than the downside. And also remember that Senate, Noble Retinues, and Lord's Privy Council, it's not only for your clan, it's for every single clan that's in your kingdom. So for Senate, every tier 3 or above clan will receive the influence per day. And for Noble Retinues and Lord's Privy Council, every clan tier above 5 or above, will receive the benefits and the negatives of these policies. Now, let's talk about some if-ands. So once you have a couple of towns, a good policy to have is Grazing Rights. It's right over here. And Grazing Rights, it gives you +1 to loyalty and +1 to militia, and there's really no negative effects. So I think it is literally a great one to have. Now, if you have money to spare and need more influence, then I think Military Coronae is great. So what it does pretty much is it grants you 20% more influence from battles, sieges, and stuff that has to do like with military things, right? But your troop wages are going to be increased by 10%. So again, if you have a lot of dinar saved up but you need more influence, I think this is a great investment to make as of a policy. Again, if you do have a lot of money saved up, here's another policy. And pretty much what it does is it beefs up your towns and your influence. So it's called Bailiffs. If we go right over here, and pretty much what it does is town security is increased by 1 per day, and once your town reaches 60 security, you will also gain 1 influence per day. The downside is taxes from towns are reduced by 0.5, but in my opinion, I think this is a typo and it's meant to say 5%. But again, the upside is greater than the downside in my opinion. Now, if you wish to upgrade your town's prosperity, I think Imperial Towns is great. So if we go to Imperial Towns, right over here, pretty much towns held by the ruler clan or the player clan gain +1 loyalty and +1 prosperity per day, and the only downside is towns held by non-ruling clans lose 0.3 loyalty per day. Again, the upside is way better than the downside, and usually it has great support, as you can see right here, even though they lose and you win. So apart from these that I just mentioned, I'm going to list pretty much all the other policies in the game currently that have no downside, and then you can pretty much get over time whenever you really need them. And yeah, so let's get into the list. So the first one is castle charters. So this one used to give us influence per castle, so unfortunately got nerfed, but it's still very good, but it's not my top 4 anymore. So I suggest getting this one if you have a lot of castles that do need upgrading. All it does is castle upgrade costs are reduced by 20%, and that's it. No downside. It's just a freebie in my opinion. Next one you have is Prokaryote and Tenure. I think that's how you say it. So what this does is pretty much the influence cost of proposing to take another clan's fief away is reduced by 50% for the ruler clan. So let's say if we go to clans, you wanted to take this fief from this clan, let's say this this castle, right, and give it to, and pretty much put it up to vote again, right? Where is it? Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's in the fief category. Right here. So this thing right here. So if you want to propose this, if I had the Prokaryote and Tenure as what do you call it? As a policy, this would be halved to 200. I can do that right now actually to show you what I mean. Let's propose this. Yes, we want to support it. And now if we go back to that same exact screen, as you can see, it is now 200 instead of 400. And then the last one is the Royal Privilege. So if we go to Royal Privilege right over here, we're also going to pass this one to show you the cost differences pretty much. So this is influence cost so the influence cost of a ruler overriding the popular vote is reduced by 20%. I think this is huge, especially late game when you have a lot of clans that don't agree with a certain thing, right? So let's say I want to pass this policy, right? As we can see, the popular vote is no, we oppose the proposal. So if I support it, as you can see, I'm going to spend 2,500 extra influence to get this policy. So what we're going to do is we're going to propose it. Now remember that number, 2,500. We have about 11%. Let's find a similar one that has about 11% right here, another 11%, well 13%, right? And as you can see, we spend a lot less, pretty much like I said before, 20% less. So I think this is very good late game. And this also has to do with any proposal, not just policy proposals. It has to do with the diplomacy proposals where you propose peace or declare war. So yeah, I think Royal Privilege is a great one to get late game. Now, I also suggest you check out the rest of the policies. There's a lot of good ones. Like a lot of these, like as you can see in my kingdom, I have a lot of policies on, and only a few that aren't on. Well, only a few that aren't. What do you call? Currently in my kingdom, right? But all of these have positives and negatives, and depending how your kingdom is going, at what part of the kingdom, like if you have a really huge kingdom, a lot of these will be proposed by other clans, and if they don't really affect you, you might as well pass them because the clans are going to like you more and stuff of that nature, right? So read all of them over. They're very cool, like I said, positive and negatives and all of that. But yeah, hopefully this video was informative, and ask me any questions you have about it, and I'll, of course, I will try my best to answer it. Also, I have a Discord. We have a little Discord community. If you want to come by, say hello, talk to people, talk to me, any of that stuff, I'm on there daily. So, yeah, the link to that will be down below in the description. And a lot more videos to come. And like always, stay safe.